Hello everyone, my name is Neven Valev from Global Petrol Prices. We'll do a very brief overview of what happened to electricity prices in the last quarterly update. This chart shows the average residential and business electricity rates for the world as a whole. These are weighted averages using GDP for the individual countries. As you can see, prices went up quite a bit during the energy shock in 2022, and they've been declining since then, except in the last quarter, when both the residential and business electricity rates increased by about 4%. The same trend is observed in Europe. Europe is of particular interest because it was impacted quite severely by the energy shock, and also because most of its economies have liberalized electricity markets, and therefore prices over there tend to fluctuate more strongly. This table shows you the percent change in the household and business rates since the previous quarter, Q2 2024, and the year-on-year changes from the same quarter last year. You can stop the recording, you look at the numbers at your leisure, but just notice that the household rates increased on all continents in the last quarter. Most pronounced increases we see in Europe, in Australia. On the business rates, we see a bit more moderate increase where it is present, and actually a slight decline in North America. There were quite a few countries with more significant changes, which we define as an increase or decrease in prices by over 10%. Just a few ones to highlight. Norway, for example, is interesting because it relies a lot on hydro electric power and on wind power, and favorable climate conditions allowed it to lower prices significantly, which was not the case in many of the neighboring countries. Argentina and Turkey, kind of in line with the relatively high inflation rates in these two countries. We observe quite sizable increase in electricity prices as well. In Argentina, there is also a bit of a pullback on state support for the power prices in an effort to close some budget deficit issues. The Ukraine also a special case. Prices there increased a lot as supply has been declining because of the destruction of its power system. What do we think might happen in the near future? We think that there will most likely be some increase in electricity prices over time. One reason is just the inflation that we have experienced in the last few years. If you look at the global average prices 5 years ago and adjust for inflation of, let's say, 5% world inflation, just that factor alone would imply that current residential rates would be about 17 cents for kilowatt hour, and for the business rates about 16 cents. Well, we're kind of approaching these levels, but not quite. So the real price of electricity is actually a little bit lower than it was 5 years ago. Commodity prices in the energy sector, they seem quite low at present. They may go down even more, of course, but chances are we'll see an increase from current levels at some point that should drive prices up. Many countries introduced price support policies during the energy shock of 22. Gradually they are unwinding them, and we see the impact of this across quite a few countries in Europe and elsewhere. This process will probably continue. Weather seems to be getting hotter, and so with this, the demand for electricity is increasing. There is new demand from the expanding AI industry, and that seems to be quite a significant factor in this area. And at the same time, there are limits on the speed with which power supply can increase. So all these factors put together suggest that we are more likely to see price growth over time than price declines. Thank you for your attention. We've monitored these prices for quite a few years already, and have accumulated a significant amount of observations and data. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at the email on the screen. Thank you.